Allah, eh. Day and break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase, the government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and greed. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, 'cause all we have is pharaohs, yeah. In our suffering, it's what they're making business of, yeah. The rich get richer, and the poor people suffer. Them promise say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into begging. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a modern time like this, we're children and slaves. We're fighting a war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers, looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. The hope for the future, yeah. Oh yeah. Mama see bless, Mama see bless,
Chaos Beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I want not energy. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smarting. I want the money, I want smarting. One life to live, it on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking like the fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the paper in millions. If you my friend, stand constant, you chameleon. The only go on, no, I come on. I don't wanna know how they feel it said, how they feel it said. I'm a feeding, be the feeding, yeah. Yet I wanna control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want hold you let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I say miss my Henneken with Hennessy, I want anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I say way down, bring it way down. One left to live, shake it way down. If you leave, well, then you in your grave now. But a human being, you can certify the other being. I just wanna do it my way. I beg you to it your way. I wanna enjoy my way. What thing I get, let's say for the practice. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I say miss my Henneken with Hennessy, I want anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. Mama, see bless. Let go.
Yes, beats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, Allah, eh. Day now break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase, the government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah, like the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Like the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Like the way we're living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and greed. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs, yeah. In our suffering, it's what they're making business of, yeah. The rich get richer, and the poor people suffer. Them promise say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into begging. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but ain't no more than time like this with children and slaves. We're fighting a war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers, looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future, yeah. The hope for the future. The hope for the future, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mama see bless, Mama see bless,
Chaos Beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I want not anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smarting. I want the money, I want smarting. One life to live, it on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking, let it fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the paper in millions. If you my friend, stay constant, you chameleon. The only go on, no, I'll come on. I don't wanna know how the feed is said, how the feed is said. I'm a feeding, be the feeding, yeah. Yet I want control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want who you let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Liberia. That is a good afternoon. Those into Nimba County, Grand Judah County, and Plebo Sulcan District. I'm so happy if you're somewhere there into River G Fish Town. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another spectacular edition of today's program. If you're into Lofa County or somewhere around the Zillman, Zuwala, Bopinza, Econium, there in the Sakonandu, Woman, no, into Samondu, if you're somewhere there into Bakidu. Thank you so much for joining us today on today's edition of the program. Those into Bombing County, Grand Kipmount County, Grand Bassa, Maigidi, Riverside. Let me say thanks all of you into the borders of Liberia. It's a pleasant welcome to another spectacular edition of today's program. It's a pleasure to have all of you. Today is Decoration Day. Yeah, a day something that bring memories into the hearts of those who are living. So yeah, to my children, never mind. Daddy, I'm so that I'm hardly down today again. Yeah, many a times when you take your time to think back what has happened, break you back. Let me say my condolence to the entire Sumo family, the VAR family, all of you today, and let me say, may the souls of all who are perfectly departed this earth rest in perpetual peace. Thank you so much all of you today who have turned out today. Yeah, another day. Let's have a soul reflection on those who have died. And we are not better than them, but you can ask God why. He knows. He gave it, he took it. And today, another sad day again. And this is the People's Program, certainly bringing you major headlines into the news, Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. I'm inviting all of you to join me on today's spectacular edition of the program. And you can also do well by inviting others to join you by sharing our live video on. We will highly appreciate if you would do. Let's say thanks to all of you watching live today. Emmanuel Palacio Wompa Jr. just joined our online platform. Daniel Peter, Calvin Lenka, and a lot more. John T. Mavolo is watching live. Thank you so much for joining us. William Davis is watching live, and Julian P. Dunn also watching. Moto Ernest is watching there from Tapata, Nimba County, Lower Nimba County, Liberia. Rufus Marcopo's son is live. Moses T. Boy. Famora Flomo is watching live. Thanks to all of you joining us on our online page. It's a pleasant welcome. Please invite others to join the live broadcast. Please invite others, and you can also share the live video. But don't forget, the geometry of the whole must be kept high onto the agenda because it involves the majority, and those that come with equity must come with clean hands. On today, the 10th of March to the Wednesday, it's a pleasant welcome. My name is NATHANIEL, the Vice Senior, and a pleasant day. And today, trust me, there are a lot of angers into Senegal as Senegal young people have gone on a rampage on the streets about the Ousmane Sonko detention last week has sparked dates of unrest into Senegal. The WTO, the World Trade Organization, with its first female head, will today, Wednesday, begin talks on a joint proposal by India and South Africa to suspend bans on coronavirus vaccines to increase the production. It's supported by more than 100 developing countries, many of whom have not yet made meaningful start to the vaccination of the campaign. We'll travel to the WTO to bring that development up. Today, Nigeria into the Niger state, the now the central part of Nigeria. They have said that there's a plan to provide pump action guns for vigilantes into Nigeria. And also today, Equatoria, Guinea blast, the death toll has risen up to about 105 who will travel there to bring development coming up. We've been talking about this issue into the Tigray region, into Ethiopia, as the United States envoy to visit the conflict-hit Tigray into Ethiopia. The United States ambassador to Ethiopia will on today, Wednesday, paid a visit to the northern part of Tigray. And I'm looking at smokes in the air. Yeah, another survey over as the International Organization for Migration has demanded urgent humanitarian access into Yemen to migrate mostly Ethiopian wounded into the deadly fire at an overcrowded holding facility. We will travel to bring development come out today as Kenya ratifies trade deal with the United Kingdom. All line up today onto the decision of the program. And South Africa pushes for the COVID-19 vaccine, parting a ban into South Africa. More than 131,000 persons are displayed into Ethiopia Tigray region. The United Kingdom to return a 4.2 million euros stolen loot to the Nigerian nation. And a lot more coming up onto this program. And today, outside Africa, a hospital into Brazil cities close to collapse into the Brazilian country, into Latin America and the Caribbean, into the Middle East. Today, 2 women 10 years on as 2 Syrian women reflect on how their lives have changed 10 years after the popular uprising against the government began into the Middle East. And today, into Asia, Thai Prime Minister spray sanitizers on reporters. The Prayut Chan-o-cha was asked to mount a cabinet reshuffle and chose to defect the question unusually. We will travel to Asia to bring a development coming up into the Thai nation. And today, Myanmar recalls the United Kingdom envoy after the pro-Aung San Suu Kyi remarks on today. And today, hospitals, schools, and businesses security scam It's been hacked and today into the world of technology. China and Russia to build a lunar space station. How will this happen? There is a question coming up, but they have said this is what they will do as Russia attacks Twitter speed over the banned content into Europe. And today we'll be talking. This is something serious. Today, the national benefit sharing trust into the forest sector of Liberia. They have said they have confirmed that government is actually owing them, and government is indebted to them, and government should pay it as construction areas, especially in the forestry sector, is very much important as they launched the 12-month forest benefit project and seek to build the capacity of the national benefit sharing trust. And the board has said they have admitted the government is owing them, and the money the government has failed to remit to the board over the last 4 years to carry out a major development project into the country. We will look at that and looking more deeper onto construction companies into Liberia, how they are treating Liberians, how citizens in those areas of construction are not benefiting. And then again, the National Benefit Sharing Trust, they have said government should be able to give them something to the board. The chairperson of the National Benefit Sharing Trust has said this amount is there to carry on development, but yet, till now, government is still owing them. We will look at that on our hot talk segment this afternoon, looking at the forestry sector and other concessionaires area. We'll look at gold and Veronian. What are the laws on the book? We'll look at St. Darby. What are the laws? Are citizens in those areas benefiting? They have taken the people land, water, creeks, farmland, all now have been taken by concession companies, and thereby leaving the people to waddle in abject poverty. Today, we will look at the entire process this afternoon, also invite others who are into these concessionaire areas to be a part of today's program. And don't sit there, do something, and let's talk about it, and let's talk at the highway, and all of your comments on the Hard Talk segment will be used as a building block for our modern democracy. This afternoon, so pleasant welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. But first, let's look out what's happening in Liberia. The West African, that is the Culture West Africa Global Alumni Association, has held its inaugural virtual convention on the 3 dates, February 26 and 28, and now the update is up as alumni from Asia, North America, Europe, Liberia, and other countries in Africa attended the very successful event. And the overall arching goal of the CWA Global is to restore CWA to its place for permanence and among secondary schools in Liberia. The CWA alumni include Her Excellency, former President of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Honorable Joseph Juma Boakai, former Vice President of Liberia, Vice President Dr. Joe Howard Taylor, Honorable Gloria Musu Scott, Honorable Henry Reed Cooper, and Mr. Edison Benedict Cummings. This is a list of one and those president and Nobel laureate, 2 vice president, 2 chief justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, and first title executive of the Fortune 500 companies and philanthropists. And the convention raised over about 100,000. They raised over about 100,000 United States dollars in cash and monetary pledges and in-kind pledges. Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of Liberia, and Elizabeth Benedict Cummings of the ANC, spearheaded a grand rally during the convention ball on the 22nd of February, which raised close to 40,000 United States dollars. The President of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Weah, has opened Liberian Maritime Training Institute, the AMTR, into Marshall City, Maghibie County after months of closure due to the coronavirus outbreak. And making a remark on the 5th of March at the reopening of the MTR, President Weah praised the tremendous work that the institution is doing and congratulated Eugene Nangwe for his wonderful transformation at the Liberia Maritime Authority since he took over as a general commissioner. And at the same time, the president calls on the cadets to exert all efforts in taking their lessons seriously. He urged that they should acknowledge that their service out there upon graduation won't just bring pride to themselves or their parents or loved ones, but Liberia and the world at large. And for his part, the Commissioner General of the Maritime, Len Eugene Nangwe, says the reopening of the institution is a breakthrough for Liberian maritime sector. He explains that since 1984 rather, 1984, when Liberia launched this program, it has been going from strength to strength. Eugene Nangwe, the Commissioner General of Maritime, said that Liberia Maritime has been delisted from the Coast Guard blacklist, stating that Liberia is no more blacklisted. Eugene Nangwe maintained that at the end of this month, the authorities will be moving to its new corporate headquarters. According to him, work is speedily going on to ensure that the timetable is met. He said that since the establishment of the LMA into 1948, it will be the first time the entity will be moving into its own building. Good news! And over the past 3 weeks of hearing, lawyers representing the Gabriel massacre into the war crimes trial have focused heavily on the inconsistency into witnesses' testimony in an apparent effort to discredit the prosecution cases. On Tuesday this week, defense lawyer Carlin Gumarots played a section of a recording made during the finished investigation interview with the witness in 2020. Despite prosecutor protest, the Gumaros convinced the presiding judge to play the 30-second portion of the tape 13 times to make it very clear that the difference into the witness to testimony. The witness, code named Civilian 62 by the court to protect his identity, had told the investigators that he didn't know the leader of the soldiers carrying out atrocities in Waterside during the period as Gabriel massacre, but rather as injured Gabriel. During the cross-examination on Tuesday, Civilian 62 told the court that he heard the name Gabriel massacre from the man who informed him that some Finnish people were in town and were interested in hearing his account of what occurred in the Waterside. Into another inconsistency, the witness told the court on Tuesday and that he was 14 years old in 2001 when he was held captive by the soldiers in Waterside, where he and his older brother has gone to look for rights to buy to sell, but had informed the Finnish investigator that he was between the age of 15 to 16 at the time of the incident. When pressed by defense lawyer Gumarots on why he gave the investigator a different age, the witness said he may have been confused at the time. Gabriel massacre, a Sierra Leonean national, have lived into Finland since 2008, where he was relocated in exchange for devastating testimony that he gave to the Special Court for Sierra Leone. Experts said Gabriel massacre testimony was instrumental into the conviction of the former Liberian President Charles Taylor and other leaders of Sierra Leone's civil war. Gabriel massacre was arrested in Finland in March last year after the Swiss victims advocate the Civitas Maxima, working with the Global Justice Research Project, alerted prosecutor Gabriel massacre alleged crime into Liberia. The Finnish court moved to Liberia to hear the testimony of witnesses, and more than 45 for Liberia. The court will also hear testimony into Sierra Leone. More on that, just go there and check it out to get a full detail coming for you. The Supreme Court to uphold the prohibition on Brennan Samukai certification. As justice in the Chamber's host meeting yesterday, news gathered said that yesterday a closed-door meeting of the Honorable Supreme Court has unanimously agreed to uphold the recent rate of prohibition on the certification of Brennan Samukai as a senator of Lufa County. According to a highly placed source, as talking about the condition of anonymity, told this news that was a highly charged bringing of the Chamber's meeting bearing a final decision to place a rate of prohibition. The political and legal prudence are fears that the purported rate of prohibition against Breni Samkai might just be another political stage managed decision to overturn the certification of Brenna Samkai. And before today, purported the Supreme Court Justice in Chima's Associate Justice Joseph Nangwe has issued a rate of prohibition on the certification of Lofa County Senator-elect J. Brenna Samkai by the National Elections Commission. The Chief Justice of Liberia, Francis C. Kokpo of the Supreme Court of Liberia, has said after his retirement he will go to his private life and not seek elective or public office. The Chief Justice made the statement as a result of speculations that he wants to be the running mate to the President of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Mananguia, into the upcoming 2023 presidential and general election. The Chief Justice Francis Kokpo went far to even describe the Liberians who, according to him, are engaged in such lies against him as being unpatriotic. As some of Liberians even go as far as calling on the former government and international organizations not to provide needed support to their public institution. According to the judge, lawyers, and others at the opening ceremony of the March term of court on Monday, the 8th of March, Chief Justice Francis C. Kokpo further stated that he was, for the first time, he has never had talks with the president, his political party, or any other persons or political party concerning such political ambition. And Chief Justice Francis C. Kokpo, who is the head of the judiciary, said, if even such offer is made, I will respectfully decline. More on that, you go there and check it out. The General Overseer of the Congregation of God Church, Reverend Patrick Appleton, said it's about time Liberia rises from the spirit of the past and rethinks for the future. He said if Liberia must go on the right trajectory, then it's time to rise up from the past and prepare for the future that is ahead of all Liberians. Preaching during the official church service held into the edifice of the church into Negro Town, Bushwood Island, Reverend Appleton said that the cup of the past can only pass over Liberia if the nation and the church put their houses in order. As Liberian commemorate today, Decoration Day, March 10, Wednesday, 2021, reports that Bush have taken over the Liberia Old Cemetery into the heart of the capital. The National Civic Society Council seeks answer from Election Commission over the delay in certifying Boto Cannon as the senator of Wapolo County. And that's now across on the development this afternoon as Representative Mariamo B. and Fofana has introduced a bill that will mandate the executive branch to decentralize the country's Independence Day on July 26. Representative Aja Mariamo Fofana has introduced a bill that would mandate the executive branch to decentralize the country's Independence Day on July 26 within 15 counties. According to the House Rules, Order and Administration Chairperson and Lufa County District No. 4 Representative, when the bill is enacted, it will decentralize or organize, reorganize, or regionalize the July 26 celebration in order to give a sense of belongingness to all Liberians across the country and promote development, unity, and participatory democracy. According to Representative Haja Mariamo B. and Fofana, she said, and I'm going to quote what she said in these words: Honorable Presiding, distinguished colleagues into this honorable House. Chapter 11, Article 7 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia states, the public shall, consistent with the principle of individual freedom and social justice enshrined in the Constitution, manage the national economy and national resources of Liberia in such manner as such ensure the maximum feasible participation of Liberian citizens under conditions of equality as to the advance the general welfare of Liberian people and the economic development of Liberian according to Representative Mariamu Bien Fofana. And more on that, you just go there and check it out to get a full detail coming up for you. Dr. Chris Dobet Young to speak at the Johns Hopkins Public Health, according to the Academy of Health on the Johns Hopkins University Bloomberg School of Public Health, as a hold a health event to address global approaches to health situation in and around the world. The Academy of the Johns Hopkins University Bloomberg School of Public Health hold a health event to discuss global approaches to COVID-19 vaccine. At the Health Forum, infectious disease scientist Dr. Dr. Christopher Yan of Liberia will be speaking on the global health equality and social political trends of COVID-19 vaccines dispensation, according to the letter of invitation. Into the last several weeks, a regulatory agency around the world, including the United States Food and Drug Administration and the European Union regulatory body, have approved a number of vaccines from emergency use in the fight against the ongoing COVID-19 vaccines, which has already claimed close to 2.6 million lives globally as of date. Among the vaccines approved are those produced by the Pfizer, the BioNTech, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson. The Johns Hopkins Health Forum is organized in partnership with Africa Public Health Network and will take place on 11th of March, tomorrow, 2021, and thus bringing together public health students, faculties, and policies makers into the health space. And this will mark the second time the Chief Medical and Scientist Officer of the Shuflex Biomic and Dr. Christopher Young will be speaking at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. And more on that, you'll go there and check it out. The president of Liberia caps a celebration of the International Women's Day with unveiling of the DNA machine to aid investigation of rape cases. It was a house full of joy on the International Women's Day when the government of Liberia, through its president, His Excellency Dr. George Bananwia, joined by the Vice President, Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, and international development partners, unveiled the nation's first public DNA machine. The genetic machine was purchased by the government to aid in the investigation of rape as a result of a recommendation by the Interministerial Task Force on Sexual Gender-Based Violence, the RTSGBV, set up by the President in 2021, aimed at sustaining protest by rights activists over the alarming rate of sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV. The DNA machine was recommended as doctors, law enforcers, and human rights activists decry the difficulties of detecting rape cases over the lack of the medical equipment. Into the address at the event marking the observance of International Women's Days program held at the Ministerial Complex in Town, the President of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Bananwia, said the procurement of the machine was a great step in investigating rape cases. And over the weekend, Quado extend gap to 3 points as orders. Bia Mountain has made their own debut. A renewed hope for Redviton. A good day and a good one for Liberia and Liberians. A call for women participation into the political leadership. Thank you so much for joining us. And also don't forget, as Grandmaster only carry 6 university starters Orange Liberia Soldier Vector Prize application to students, employees, and enterprise has been launched into Liberia. And these and a lot more, you just go there and check it out to get a full detail coming up for you. And let's say thanks to all of you joining us onto our online platform this afternoon. Patrick Bleeman is live and watching live this afternoon. He said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Val. I'm watching live on Tuput Road." And P. Murata Mutsa said, "Good afternoon, Rehab Community is live. My name is P. Murata Mutsa." Jojo Howard Jr. said, "Good afternoon, Uncle Nat. My name is Jojo Howard Jr. and I'm watching you live on Sackley P. City, Nima County. Thanks for the update." And Junior Miller said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Val. My name is Junior Miller and I'm watching you from GSRO Kisikam." Your favorite boy, Jenkins James, said, "Hi, my name is your favorite boy, Jenkins James. I'm watching you from my Soul Clinic community. Thank you so much." Joseph Manimoyi said, "Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Manimoyi. I join you from Mount Barclay." Isaac Bola Jr. says, "Good afternoon. I'm watching you live on Tingers Village, Robertsfield Highway." Stevens, the Master Stevens said, "Good afternoon. I join you from my Comertown resident. Thank you for the show." And John T. Mavolo is also watching live there on Lower Mikey County. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Palacio Wompa Jr. is also watching live. Daniel Peters, Carmen Elenka is watching live. He said, "Thanks for the platform. Watching live on Soul Clinic." William Davids, Julian P. Don, and Boto Ernest said, "I'm watching you live from Tapata, Lower Nima County, Liberia." Thanks to all of you. Ruben M. Womi says, "Good afternoon. I'm watching from Peace Island into Banana Farm." Thank you so much. Thank you so much there. Rufus Markop, whose son is watching live on Tuput Road. And Moses T-Ball, Framora, Flomo Jr., also watching live at the GSC Road, Cooper Farm Rehab Community. You can also do well by inviting others to join our live broadcast by sharing our video and also inviting others to join our live broadcast. But first, let's look out what's happening into Africa. And our first stop going to be into Kenya. And today, Kenya legislators have ratified the country's trade deal with the United Kingdom, despite concerns by some members of the parliament on the lack of room for further amendment and an ongoing court case against the deal. Under the arrangement, Kenya will maintain its duty and quota-free access for its agricultural products such as tea, coffee, cut flour, fruits, vegetables to the United Kingdom market. On the other hand, import taxes on about 82.6% of products originating from the United Kingdom will be abolished after 25 years. A court case has been filed by small-scale farmers who have complained of the lack of public participation. The International Organization for Migration, the IOM, have demanded urgent humanitarian access into the Yemen to migrate. Mostly Ethiopian wounded into the deadly fire at an overcrowded holding facility. The IOM said that there are many migrants certainly into this critical condition. Meeting with their health needs must be an urgent priority. It is not clear how many of the hundreds of people were killed or injured into the fire at the center into the Sinai. The IOM said more than 170 people have been treated for injury, with many still into critical condition. A Yemeni human rights group, Mawatana, has issued a report suggesting that the number of those who died is far higher than the figure of 8 even so far. And more on that, you go there and check it out. A United States ambassador to Ethiopia will on today Wednesday visit the Nauti Tigray region, where a government-led military campaign against the regional forces left thousands dead and hundreds of thousands displaced. The visit comes after the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken last week urged Ethiopia to allow an international investigation into the alleged atrocities into the region. It is unclear what access Ambassador Gita Pasi will be granted in Tigray, but the embassy said in a tweet that the United States were committed to providing life-saving assistance to vulnerable population into Ethiopia. Allegations of war crimes and crimes against humanity have since emerged, with the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner calling on Ethiopia to allow independent experts into the region. More on that, you go there, check it out. And the death toll for explosion at a military base into Equatorial Guinea has risen to about 105. The human rights, according to the health minister, some 133 people were still into the hospital, according to the minister. A total of 615 people were injured into the blast. The blast on Sunday hit the Nikoin Toma military base into the country's main capital, Bata, and caused huge damage to buildings and homes. President Obangni Guiman said they have been caused by the negligence of a unit charged with the care and protection of stores of dynamites and explosive. More on that, you go there and check it out. Officials into Niger State, into the central Nigeria has announced that they are going to arm vigilante group with the bomb action rifles. They said that they want to improve local securities into a state where attacks by bandits armed with AK-47 assault rifle has been on the rise. There is no policy present across much of the state, so it hopes that the vigilante will fill the gap, but there are concerns that it will lead to a growing violence. The rival bandits are using Arizona Kalashika, the GMP-GS, and the most commonly RPGs, and then we are sending people with double-barrel guns and pump-action guns to go face them, according to the International Crisis Group Senior Advisor of Nigeria on the BBC. And today, member state of the World Trade Organization will on today, Wednesday, begin talks on a joint proposal by India and South Africa to suspend patent on the coronavirus vaccines to increase production. It is supported by more than 100 developing countries, many of whom have not yet made a meaningful start to the vaccination campaign. Drug companies say manufacturing capacities and ingredients shortages, not patent, are providing to be the bottleneck. Britain, the European Union, the United States all oppose the proposal and are likely to block its passes into the WTO. Newsman Vec says young Senegalese have had enough. Their anger about the impact the pandemic has made on their pockets, but also at the way their president has been running the country. There's something that the young people are not happy about, and that the only way they find to express it is by violence. So when Usman Sonko, an opposition popular leader among young people, was temporarily arrested and charged with rape, their anger boiled over. They said that the charges against Mr. Sonko were nothing more than high-level conspiracy to stop him from running into the future elections. But is there any evidence of such a backup? That is the question coming up for Selinga. And today, Mauritania has entered a 15-day national lockdown on Wednesday, today, the 10th of March, after a rise into the COVID-19 vaccines cases since the beginning of the month. The Indian Ocean Island nation recorded 5 new cases on Tuesday yesterday, bringing the total of new cases to 15. The worst affected region are in the town of the Vacoites, Fornex, and the Cape Pipe. The announcement prompted panic buying the supplies and long queues at petrol stations. Weddings and funerals will be attended by the restricted number of people, while supermarkets, bakeries, and banks will be opened from Thursday, but into alphabetical order. Violators of the lockdown will be fined or be jailed for more than 5 years. A similar lockdown was lifted in June last year. Let's now take a look what's happening into Burundi today, as the Burundi Ministry of Commerce have banned maize, grain, and flour import for the next 6 months, starting March 8 this year. A statement from the ministry said recently imported maize were not good and could affect people's health. It didn't specify which countries the import were coming from. Most of Burundi maize import are from Uganda and Zambia, but it is not clear to what extent the countries rely on import to testify its needs. The Central African nations has a good yield for the last crop season, according to officials, reassuring consumers that the commodities should be available even with the ban. Maize is a staple food in parts of Burundi. Why it's banned, its brand is being used to feed cattle. And finally, today, the International Organization of Migration said there are more than 131,000 people displaced in 39 accessible locations in Ethiopia Tigray region and neighboring Afar and the Amhara, according to a survey. The data was gathered through a displacement tracking metric. Its new survey, which gathered and analyzed data on population estimates on vulnerability and the need of displaced populations. The IOM said it has identified about 30,383 displaced households. The IOM also said that many of the displaced persons, including women and children, are in need of emergency shelter, food, access to clean and safe drinking water. The Northern Tigray region has been the center of conflict between the federal government and its former ruling party, the Tigray People Liberation Front, the TPLF. The conflict erupted on November 4, 2020, when the Ethiopian government launched an offensive to oust the TPLF after its fighters captured the federal military bases into Tigray. And James Ibori stole the money while he was governor of Nigeria Delta State into the other part of 2000. The United Kingdom is said to return about 4.2 million euros stolen loot to Nigeria. A tree that stands beside the water, the river, understands the language of the fish. As we take our brief cross outside Africa on the World Saints. And our first stop going to be into Brazil today. On yesterday, the country has recorded about 1,972 deaths, a new daily record. The health system into most parts of Brazil's largest cities are close to collapse due to COVID-19 cases, and the country's leading health institute have warned more than 80% of the intensive care unit beds are occupied into the capital of 25 of Brazil, 27 states. Experts warn that the highly contagious variant into Brazil may have knock-on effect into the region and beyond. The country has recorded more than 266,000 deaths and 11 million cases since the pandemic. It has the second highest number of deaths into the world after the United States and the third highest number of confirmed cases. Despite this, President Jair Bolsonaro has certainly consistently opposed quarantine measures and expert advice on fighting the virus into Brazil. And let's now cross and take a look into the central part of Europe this afternoon as the number of patients in the intensive care has reached a new high into the Czech Republic as several Central European countries struggle with the new wave of the virus. The Czech authorities on yesterday sent the first patient abroad for treatment into Poland as facilities struggle to cope into Hungary. Meanwhile, the number of cases into the current wave has surpassed the previous peak in December. Cases also in the rise into Poland, where the government recorded the highest number of daily cases since the late part of November on Wednesday. About 17,260 new infections. A health minister spokesperson complained of increased looseness among poor toward the anti-COVID-19 measures. An additional 1,500 beds, hospital beds, are to be free up for COVID patients in Poland into the coming days. The Republic of Ireland is said to get about 46,500 Astra vaccine. The government commission said the doses will help to tackle the hotspot and facilitate free border movement into the Ireland. The United Kingdom and its Prime Minister Boris Johnson on aspects of the COVID-19 vaccine export said the United Kingdom has now blocked the export of COVID vaccine. The United Kingdom has not blocked the export of single COVID-19 vaccines or vaccine components, according to the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And today, Russia tackles Twitter speed over the banned content. President Vladimir Putin has criticized the social media company and Twitter, and is popular with the opposition activists into Russia. And today, the Thai Prime Minister sprayed sanitizers on the reporter. Prayut Chan-o-cha was asked about a cabinet reshuffle and chose to deflect the question unusually into Asia. And then still into Asia, Myanmar recalls the United Kingdom envoy after the pro-Aung San Suu Kyi remarks. And today, Kwat Zat Man had said that he stood by the deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi call for her release into Asia. Today, China and Russia to build a lunar space station. The two countries will create research facilities on the surface and or into the moon orbit. And today, according to technological news, hospitals, schools, and business securities camps have been hacked. The hack exposed the feed showing the inside of offices, hospitals, and businesses, including the Tesla. Let's now cross to this history as a regular future onto our program this afternoon. Regular future comes away Monday, to Friday. Today in 1902, March 10, 20, that's 1902, the United States patent dispute. And this was the day that a case regarding the invention of the movie camera was decided. The United States court ruled that Thomas Edison was not the original inventor of the movie camera. However, it was ruled that he has created the sprocket system used to move film through the cameras in 1902 in history. And in 1906, an underground fire sparked a massive explosion that spread through a series of mines, killing over 1,000 men into the corridors into France. France fire underground in 1906. Today in 1917, a deadly earthquake magnitude about 6.3 at the Long Beach, California, killed an estimated 140 people today in 1917. And today in 1940, in March 10, England peace talks began, and honored Secretary of the State Sumner Wales met with Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain into London, England, to discuss a peace proposal. This particular talk took place not too long after the meeting with Adolf Hitler that was planned in Berlin, Germany, today in 1940. And today in 1942, the Japanese are certainly landed on their third time in Australia, this time with 400 miles from the mainland. Australia was soon to become the next World War II target as Japanese landing in 1942 in history. Today, China, 1956, March 10, China, the Formosa, according to the press, a new offensive were being carried out by the communist troops. These attacks were to take place across from the Formosa and out far as the mouth of the Yangtze River. Formosi Premier OKU made mention in his own way that the province were prepared for the attack and warned that the communists of the first battle to take place in 1956. And today, 1998, the avalanche hit the British royal party, including Prince Charles, as they were skating off the piste above the resort of Cluster into Switzerland. And the prince and several other members of the party, including their guard, were able to skate to safety. But one of the prince's closest friends, Major Hawk Lindsay, for more inquiry to the Queen, is not so lucky today in 1998. That is 1988. And today, March 10, 1994, the United States placed a non-smoking policy. The Pentagon has introduced a new smoking policy into Pacific. For example, smoking is not allowed on military bases such as the one located into Japan, including one of its Okinawa Island and Korea. At this time, there were various opinions expressed about the effectiveness of these new smoking laws. One point of view was that no smoking except into designated area is the norms on the certain airplanes bases already anyway underway. Today in 2002, that is 2002, Palestine-Israeli attack. The Israeli helicopter attacked and destroyed the Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat office into the Gaza City today in 2002. And today in 2008, Barack Obama has employed voters to discount the political cheater about him joining the Hillary Clinton presidential ticket. He said, I don't know how somebody who in second place can offer the vice presidency to someone who is in first place. He said, it is, if I am not ready, how is it that you think I should be such a great vice president? Into Mississippi town meeting, he said that I won twice as many states as Senator Clinton, and I have more delegates than Senator Clinton today in 2008. And today, March 10, in 2013, the Swedish princess died. Princess Lilian of Sweden died at the age of 97 after suffering from several illness for several years. Princess Lilian was born in Wales and has married into the Swedish royal family after falling in love with Prince Barty. Their romance were well known into the country, and the couple had faced many objections to their marriage in 2013. And finally, today, the North Korean leader wins the unanimous election in 2014. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was unanimously elected to the North Korean parliament in his district. This was the first of such type of election to take place since Kim Jong-un took power in 2011. Today's history is directly a future on this program and bring it to bed today. And March 10, 1957, into the Royak, Saudi Arabia, and Osama bin Laden was born, and he died on May 2nd. In 2011, into the Abbottabad, Pakistan. He was known as the founding leader of the terrorist organization Al Qaeda, which is the fundamentalist Sunnah movement calling for global hijab, holy war, known for the September 11 attack onto the United States. Al Qaeda trained, indoctrinated, and induced followers to take part in suicide attacks on targets as identified by Al Qaeda, including 1993 Trade World Center bombing, in 1998 United States Embassy bombing, the USS Cole bombing, and the September 11 attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Osama bin Laden was killed by the United States Navy SEALs into the special operation led by the CIA. Let's now take our break. In Liberia, thanks all of you for joining us onto the edition of the program. Thanks all of you also watching live onto our online page this afternoon. It said Chido is West Africa ready to welcome 200,000 refugees from Nigeria? And because Nigeria is about to go into another Biafra civil war, the issue of vigilante pump actions gone is cheering. Chido said, good afternoon, God bless you, God bless Liberia Republic of Biafra. I am Mazi Nandi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of the Biafra, the RPOB. Thank you so much, Chido, for always joining us there into the Biafra state. Ben Amin said, good afternoon. I'm watching you live from Ganta City, Nima County. And Lee Dan said, my name is Lee Dan, and I'm watching for Omega Ophio. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to all of you for always joining us and watching live onto our online page, and those listening to my radio on 91.9. There's a pleasant welcome. Let's now take our break in Liberia on today. Good afternoon. It's a pleasant welcome.
What has been held youth with the young adults, auntie trust swift distribution. Now, cotton drugs are very harmful to our health and our